What's with all the fucking rad scorpions around here? Ugh, I'm gonna have to kill this one. It's gonna notice me. Sorry. Alright, let's do this.
You carefully open the jar of sulfamic acid. Taking care not to splash yourself, you pour it over the debris. Stand back and see what happens.
Okay. It just completely disintegrated it. Awesome. Let's see what this diversity conference was all about. Alright, I can finally... Oh. Something is very, very wrong here. And I'm not just saying that because I see Tiger Manufacturing there. Was there an event happening when the bombs fell? It must have been that diversity council or something. Oh, Tiger Manufacturing sponsored this? Ah, I forgot about that. I don't see any notes here. There's an upstairs though. Maybe there's something up here? Some clues as to what happened? I guess I might as well go look at the exhibits.
Representing Argentina, Eva Perón, 1919 to 1952. Maria Eva Duarte de Perón was the second wife of President Juan Domingo Perón and served as the First Lady of Argentina from 1946 until her death in 1952. She is often referred to as simply Eva Perón, or by the affectionate Spanish-language diminutive Evita, which literally translates into English as Little Eva. After marrying Colonel Juan Perón, Eva Perón became powerful within the pro-Peronist trade unions, essentially for speaking on behalf of labor rights. She also ran the Ministries of Labor and Health, founded and ran the charitable Eva Perón Foundation, championed women's suffrage in Argentina, and founded and ran the nation's first large-scale female political party, the Female Peronist Party.
Oh, I've never heard of this person, but I mean, labor rights are cool. I'm glad she was really trying to move the country in the right direction. That counts for something. Plus women's rights? I hope things worked out well for her. Who we got next?
Representing Germany, Albert Einstein, 1879 to 1955. Albert Einstein was a theoretical physicist. His many contributions to physics include the special and general theories of relativity, the founding of relativistic cosmology, the first post-Newtonian expansion, explaining the perihelion advance of Mercury, prediction of the deflection of light by gravity and gravitational lensing, the first fluctuation-dissipation theorem which explained the Brownian movement of molecules, the photon theory and wave-particle duality, the quantum theory of atomic motion in solids, the zero-point energy concept, the semi-classical version of the Schrödinger equation, and the quantum theory of monoatomic gas, which predicted Bose-Einstein condensation. Einstein is best known for his theories of special relativity and general relativity. Einstein published more than 300 scientific and over 150 non-scientific works.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of Einstein. Hard to be a scientist and not have heard of him. I guess he's here because he was Jewish, too.
Representing Great Britain, Elizabeth Garrett Anderson, 1836 to 1917. Elizabeth was born in 1836 in London. Her younger sister, Millicent Fawcett, became a leader of the constitutional campaign for women's suffrage. In 1860, she resolved to study medicine, an almost unheard of thing for a woman at that time, and regarded by some as almost indecent. On 9th of November 1908, she was elected mayor of Aldeburgh, the first female mayor in England. The movement for the admission of women to the medical profession, of which Dr. Anderson was the indefatigable pioneer in England, extended in her lifetime to all of North America and most of Europe.
Huh. It's hard to believe there was a time where women were subservient. I'm glad that's over. Well, in at least most of the wasteland.
Representing China, Wang Cong'er, 1777 to 1798. Wang Cong'er was a native of Xinjiang City. She started out as a circus performer and later became a leader of the White Lotus sect. The White Lotus sect originated during the Yuan dynasty. Based on Buddhist beliefs, it is considered a heretical cult and a subversive organization which was involved in uprisings against the government. Wang and her husband Ji Lin engaged in White Lotus sect recruitment and organizing of anti-government activities among the peasant population. Wang Cong'er rallied the rebels and Ji Lin's followers elected her as the supreme sect leader. Within a month, she was leading more than 40,000 followers against government troops. To this day, Wang Cong'er is considered by many as an enduring symbol of freedom and a valiant warrior.
How did they get a photo of Wong? Must have been a recreation. Well, without knowing the tenets of her religion or what her organization really believed, it's hard to know if she was actually a good person, but I mean, she was going against an imperialist regime, so awesome? I'm not surprised, though, that the representative from China here is someone who fought against the Chinese state. Okay, are there any more exhibits? Oh, there is.
Representing India, Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, 1869 to 1948. Gandhi, more commonly known as Mahatma Gandhi, or Great Soul, a honorific first applied to him by Rabindranath Tagore, was the preeminent political and spiritual leader of India during the Indian independence movement. He was the pioneer of Satyagraha, resistance to tyranny through mass civil disobedience, firmly founded upon Ahisma, total non-violence, which led India to independence and has inspired movements for civil rights and freedom across the world. An eye for an eye makes the whole world blind.
Oh, Gandhi did good things? All I heard about him was he was some religious guy that slept with his granddaughters. Well, I guess your heroes turn out to be monsters, or monsters turn out to be heroes, I guess, in this case. I can acknowledge that this movement did good things for India, but honestly, nonviolence is overrated. I mean, were the police trying to stop them nonviolent? I highly doubt it. Are there any other exhibits? Oh, there's more.
Representing United States of America, George Washington Carver, 1864 to 1943. George W. Carver was an American scientist, botanist, educator, and inventor whose studies and teaching revolutionized agriculture in the southern United States. Much of Carver's fame is based on his research into and promotion of alternative crops to cotton, such as peanuts and sweet potatoes. The most popular of his 44 practical bulletins for farmers contained 105 food recipes that used peanuts, thus his reputation as the Peanut King, or Peanut Overlord. One of his most important roles was in undermining, through the fame of his achievements and many talents, the widespread stereotype of the time that the black race was intellectually inferior to the white race. In 1941, Time magazine dubbed him a Black Leonardo, a reference to the Renaissance Italian polymath Leonardo da Vinci.
Ugh, of course a black scientist could be good as anyone else. Fucking racist. This guy seems pretty cool.
Representing Russia, Fyodor Dostoevsky, 1821 to 1881. Dostoevsky's literary output explores human psychology in the troubled political, social, and spiritual context of 19th century Russian society. Considered by many as a founder or precursor of 20th century existentialism, his Notes from Underground, 1864, written in the embittered voice of the anonymous underground man, was called by Walter Kaufmann the best overture for existentialism ever written. A prominent figure in world literature, Dostoevsky is often acknowledged by critics as one of the greatest psychologists in world literature. Crime and Punishment and The Brothers Karamazov remain his best-known works.
Oh yeah, I've heard about those. Never read them, though.
Representing Japan, Nitobe Inazo, 1862 to 1933. Nitobe was a prolific writer. He published many scholarly books as well as books for general readers. He is perhaps most famous in the West for his work Bushido, The Soul of Japan, 1900, which was one of the first major works on samurai ethics and Japanese culture written originally in English for Western readers. It was an important work towards the goal of making Japan's rich history and culture accessible to the West. What is important is to try to develop insights and wisdom rather than mere knowledge, respect someone's character rather than his learning, and nurture men of character rather than mere talents.
I don't know about this guy. That was around the time Japan was becoming fascist, and I can't help but wonder if maybe he was glorifying Japan's past, like how some Americans glorified America's past. Oh, that's all the exhibits. There aren't any other notes or anything around here, though. There's so many bodies, too. I have no idea what happened. Oh, wow. Car must have flown through the air when the bombs fell and crashed through the ceiling. More bodies. Oh, this was the bathroom. Oh no, what happened in here? Wait, this was a murder. There's a baseball bat. So they must not have died when the bombs fell. That's weird. Oh, here's a storage room or something? Oh no. Wait a sec. Did that door just close behind me? Doors don't usually do that. Last time I did that, I was out of my mind. Well, there's a terminal here. Maybe someone did write about it.
Construction complete. The new Henry Clay Conference Hall is finally built. It was over-delayed, under-budgeted, and subject to all manner of indecencies and funding whitewashings over the course of its development. I have to say, though, the end result is impressive. The construction crew did a great job on capturing the essence of an accessible area for intelligent discourse. Concrete and glass, wood and steel. It's exciting to finally be standing in this hall. I eagerly await the discussions, arguments, and learning that are destined to evolve in this place.
Okay, so it was meant to be kind of a forum.
Complaint repository. I'm ecstatic over the completion of this conference hall, but I should have given a bit more thought to the creation of an actual office for the director. As it is, I'm lodged in the electrical maintenance room, where my work is constantly interrupted by the buzzing, humming, boiling, belching, burning, and smoking of the machinery in here. Why didn't one of my architects inform me of the potential difficulties inherent in establishing an office in a room such as this? I guess I'm partly to blame. I did not heed their advice on other key elements of the building's construction, so they probably thought that they would teach a lesson to this uppity woman that dared to second-guess their design. Lesson learned, Sharon. Defer to those with more knowledge than you, even if you're eager to make a point.
Well, that's a good lesson to learn.
Today's thoughts. And there was with them all a scene of great accord. And it was realized that there were scant few years that passed between the year of the first cry of the one born farthest back in the mists of time, and the year of the final rattling breath drawn by the one whose sunset broke closest to our own first cries. And the difference was of great import, and the stars shone down their blessing, and there was much feasting.
I don't know why she wrote this. Okay, well, that gives me no clues on what actually happened here. Okay, well, I gotta find a key somewhere to open the safe. You think the key to the safe would be in the manager's office, but apparently not. Oh. Alright, there's a terminal right here. Oh, the terminal controls the lock to this door. I can't hack this one either. I need to know the code. Wait a minute. That's why this is in here. It's a hint for the key, but not for the safe for that other terminal. Okay, so the birth year of the first one, and then the death year of the oldest one. Alright, that should be easy enough to figure out. Einstein was the most recent one, I'm sure. Died in 1955. And the earliest born one is the one that shouldn't have a photo. Long in 1777. Okay, so the difference between those 2 years. Alright, the difference is 178 years. So that should be it. Oh, it worked! Oh, was this a storage room of some kind? Oh, notes! And it looks like someone was staying in here. Oh, God. There's a lot of these.
October 23rd, 2077. It's happened. Those stupid b***ers. They hit the switch. They dropped the bombs. Launched the missiles. I thought surely common sense would stop it in the end. How could a man with a soul, hit the button that wipes out 1 million lives in a minute? Children, women, men, all equal before the burning. Halfway into our diversity rally they fell. How's that for irony? It killed most of the people here nearly instantly, The shockwave, things falling, things breaking. I gathered up what medical supplies I could. There's maybe 24 of us left, and maybe half that number still without serious injury. I can't do this. Just yesterday we were... Get a grip, Janet. You're the only hope these people have. Help will come soon. Just have to make it until help comes.
Oh no, they were trapped in this building. The door, it was sealed when I came in.
October 25th, 2077. People were hurt worse than I thought. We lost 15 out of the 24 that survived the initial explosions. We can't even give them a proper burial. There's still plenty of food in the kitchens and some medical supplies, so I think the 9 of us will be okay until help arrives. One of the people we lost was a baby. He suffered a fall when the building first shook and never recovered. A baby. Oh God, why have you forsaken us? How could you do this? Did I mention that a goddamn car is... Sorry, Lord. Sorry. Did I mention a car is in the roof of the conference hall? One of the bombs must have propelled it from the highway onto our roof. It crashed through the roof into the kitchen. We hoped we could claw our way out to the roof, but the collapsed concrete and steel hasn't left us that option. We're trapped in here for now.
Baby, damn it. When I saw that carriage, I hoped... Fuck.
November 25th, 2077. It's been a month now. A month. We've exhausted the supplies in the kitchen, vending machines, and drank all of the water from the toilets and the sinks. We even managed to catch a fair bit of water from a leak somewhere in the floor. Burst water main, but it stopped flowing after a few hours. It seems that the front part of the building collapsed, preventing us from getting outside. We've torn the front door all to hell, but all we've been greeted with is a wall of concrete. How did the safety inspectors let us complete construction of this building without a secondary exit? If I know. There's been no contact from anyone. No assurances of rescue. Is there anyone left out there? I've lied to the rest of the people here about the food storage. I did not want to have to access it until we had no other options, but it looks like that time is now. We recently held a statewide food drive here at the conference hall and have several hundred, if not thousands, of pounds of food and portable water locked away in the storage room. Several of the people here are on the verge of a mental breakdown, though, so I'm not sure how I'm going to break it to them. They're going to wonder why I didn't mention I had access to the room sooner. They're also going to wonder why I told them initially that it was just a locked electrical room. I imagine the explanation that I didn't think they had the good judgment to ration it logically won't be met with much enthusiasm. There's going to be questions. I will keep the Caspian with me before breaking the news.
Wait, she lied to them about having all this food and water because she didn't think they would have the judgment to ration? Are you kidding me? You were gonna have to cross that line eventually, and who are you to judge that? And the fact that she seems to be the only one with the gun isn't good either. Also, yeah, this building obviously wasn't built to any type of regulation, and that was entirely her fault.
December 11th, 2077. I've been sneaking in and out of the storage room while the others slept, grabbing a bit of food and water here and there, and locking the room behind me while they were unaware. Spreading the food around the sleeping survivors and pretending to find some of it myself in an overlooked corner fooled them well until today, when Gerald caught me. Red-handed, sneaking out of the room with a couple of cans of beans and a 6-pack of Nuka-Cola. I knew what he was about to say, saw the rage in his eyes dancing wildly in their sunken sockets. The mouth forming in accusation, the spittle from the lips, the lies, the trickery, the lies. I dropped the beans. I set the drinks down. He was yelling, and yet I couldn't hear. I knew he was yelling. I knew he was shouting about my lies and what I'd done and how dare I and how I wasn't pretty and how I never got to even go to the Paris and how I never even got to go to Paris and how I never even got to go to Paris. I shot him then. I raised the Caspian and it roared and he fell and there was blood and fire and there was screaming. I picked up the beans. Picked up the drinks. I went back inside the storage room and I locked the door. There was crying on both sides of the door. And I ate. And I drank. And I slept.
Fuck, are you kidding me? She just left them all to die. She shot and killed that unarmed man just because she's a little bitch who doesn't want to be called a liar. You know what, Janet? You are a fucking liar.
Janet, I know you're probably a bit shocked at the contents of this package. Sending the new Tiger prototype through the regular mail was a terrible option, but my only one. I'm in deep trouble, Janet. I want to tell you about it face to face. I will not be able to attend the diversity rally. I know this may cost me my position, but something happened to me while I was in Point Lookout that has changed my life forever. I am so scared and not sure what to do. All I can think of is to take it one step at a time, to fall upon your kindness, and pray that you don't mention me mailing this weapon to you. I must further impose and ask that you take over my role at the rally and give the assembled a quick rundown on the new weapon so that Tiger doesn't pull its sponsorship. I know your plate is already full, but I had no other alternative. Something came back with me from Point Lookout. In a few days, I hope my life is straightened out enough so that I can tell you about it. If you have to fire me, I understand. Please, though, before you make a decision, agree to meet me and let me tell you what's happened. I can't believe it myself. Margaret.
Margaret, the anthropologist. So that's how Janet got the Caspian. It was the same one that Margaret had.
Tiger Manufacturing Pre-Release Information Kit, TMPRIK, Tiger Caspian. Margaret Leakey, as per our sponsorship agreement, you'll be tasked with distributing information packets to prospective customers at the upcoming Diversity Rally. In addition to distributing information packets, you'll be required to give a brief demonstration after the rally with the new firearm, including unloading, reloading, sighting, and a brief review of the Caspian's new functionality. Final production run cost analysis is incomplete, so deflect questions regarding price and availability. Remember to hammer home the point that you are not a professional firearms expert. We want to reassure potential customers the Caspian is designed to be easy to use and maintain for people of all skill levels. That's the primary reasons we decided to employ you in the place of one of our own ballistic/weapons experts. Eagerly awaiting a successful diversity rally report, Tiger Manufacturing PR Division.
I think it's a little tacky to have a corporate gun manufacturer sponsor a diversity event. Wait a sec. The gun wasn't in its case. If she was locked in here, why didn't she put it back? Where is it? So sad. Oh God. What? Who the fuck are you? Oh shit, I think I know who the fuck are you. That's the Caspian. I got a tiger weapon too. That was Janet. She had so much food, she was able to survive for 200 years, and she became a ghoul. If all the others had ghoulified like she had, and she had shared the food, then I might have been able to rescue her. Although it does look like she was almost out. Still, fuck you, Janet. And you didn't even try talking to me. So much for waiting for rescue. Ugh, here's the key to the safe.
December 15th, 2077. I awoke from my long sleep. I think I slept for days. I awoke to the sound of banging outside my door. I felt strange. My tongue felt heavy and hot in my mouth. My skin felt crawling all over me, and I was hot all over, but not sweating. Not a drop of sweat. Bang! Again banging. I rolled over, and I found I still had the Caspian beside me. I picked it up and staggered to my feet. Vomited. Fell back. Bang! Dragged myself back to my feet. Went to the door. Opened it. It was Mary. She looked at me and gasped. Threw her hands to her face. Dropped something. A bat. I looked at the password terminal. She'd been beating the shit out of it with the bat. I looked back at Mary. She still had her hands over her face, but her mouth was moving. Beneath her hands, I knew her mouth was moving. Didn't get to Paris, did you, bitch? Did you, you ugly bitch? I shot her. Caspian broke her in half, right in the middle. One half went over the railing. The other stayed at my feet, dancing and jerking and spitting thick blood and burning flesh. There was more screaming. December 25th, 2077. It's Christmas. I got the rest of them, took the Caspian, and finished it, one by one. Did you know that the Caspian makes ready-made meals? I didn't. But now I do.
Oh, that's horrifying. Cannibalism on top of everything else. Fuck. Like, yeah, she had a mental break, but after she slept it off and, maybe came to her senses a bit, she should have talked to everyone and worked things out. Like, what the fuck? And also, someone who is prone to a mental break should not get the password to the food storage and the only gun. She needed help, and she killed everyone that could have offered it to her, so I have no sympathy left. You'll be buried in this room, alone, just like the day you entered. Well, I have the key to the safe now. Better see what was in it. A letter and some money.
This letter was addressed to Janet Sutherland. Based on the postmark date, it probably arrived the day before the diversity rally. Dear Janet, first please promise me you will burn this letter when you're done reading it, or at least keep it somewhere where nobody can find it. I wanted to tell you what happened to me in Point Lookout in person, but I'm not sure that's going to be possible right now. I have someone I have to take care of right now. Point Lookout. I went there with a head full of dreams and a heart full of excitement. Even having to do Tiger's dirty legwork didn't bother me all that much, though I know you sure had to hear me complain about it enough. As part of the outreach program, I was to contact residents in the local community and attempt to begin to piece together their history. I know you know all this, but taking it nice and slow is keeping me from bursting into tears, at least right now. I found a small settlement in Point Lookout and made contact with a local family, Harold Tesker and his daughter, Cora Tesker. The father was initially suspicious, but opened up a little bit when I told him I had supplies to distribute to local families. I think he was about to send me packing, but Cora piped up and said, "She looks like a nice lady, Daddy, like Mommy." The man made a little choking sound, nodded, then invited me into their little house. Sparse, poorly lit, and in rough shape, but reasonably clean, it looked like the father was doing his best with the limited resources he had. As gently as possible, I inquired about Mrs. Tesker. Harold told me that she died giving birth to little Cora, but he still had several photos of her. Mrs. Tesker was also rough country folk, with many of the unfortunate genetic characteristics of Mr. Tesker, but she had a genuine smile and a spark in her eye. Oh dear, I'm rambling again, aren't I, Janet? I'm sorry, please bear with me. I chatted with Mr. Tesker and his daughter for a while, gave them the care pack, then left. I told them I'd check in on them in a few days. True to my word, I returned 3 days later. I stumbled into something. I brought that wretched new tiger weapon with me. Even though I didn't want to, it was my duty to the conference and a tiger to carry out the task given to me. Mr. Tesker was having a loud argument with another person. The man in question made Mr. Tesker look like Cary Grant. He was huge, hairy, misshapen, without a redeeming physical feature to my eye. He looked like he was in the shallowest end of the gene pool. I know, I'm sorry, you warned me about these stereotypical shallow observations. At this point, though, I'm trying to be as honest with you as possible to keep all this in context. An argument. It grew more heated. From what I could gather, Mr. Tesker just found out that this other fellow was keeping something right dangerous next door to his house in a rundown, nearly collapsing shack. Mr. Tesker yelled out, "You fool! Tigers won't stop no toxic sludge. You get that mess packed up and out of here. I got a daughter what to think of."
The radioactive tires.
Well, the other fellow apparently didn't take too kindly to this. He pushed Mr. Tesker, who tripped over a root and fell. I heard a sickening crack as his head hit a rock. I think the fall killed him. I pray the fall killed him, because if it didn't, I'm responsible for murdering an innocent man. The man who pushed Harold turned and faced me. "Ain't you a pretty thing? Shame you had to see all that fuss," he said, and started walking towards me. "Stay back," I yelled, and pulled out that pistol that Tiger had given me. "No closer!" The man just laughed. He laughed and kept walking. I meant to fire a warning shot at his feet to show him that I meant business, to show, oh God, the new Tiger Caspian is a shotgun! I remember this too late. The force of the blast took the man's legs off of his body, as well as hitting Mr. Tesker. I saw the Caspian cut that man in half, Janet. So much blood, and the screaming, and then, if that wasn't enough, he burst into flames. Intestines spilling out of his body, burning, boiling, the smell of burning blood, and Mr. Tesker's corpse in flames as well. God, the smell. I think the only thing that kept me from collapsing in terror was the fact that Cora, with her father dead, Cora had nobody to look after her. I ran over to Mr. Tesker's shack and opened the door. Cora was huddled in the corner, crying. The argument and the shots must have scared her. Thank God she didn't see what happened to her father. "Stay here," I told her. She just sniffled and nodded. Could think of nothing else to do. I gathered up the remains of Cora's father and the man that killed him. It wasn't me. He killed him. He was dead when he hit the ground. That's what I have to keep telling myself. And dumped their remains down a nearby well. I went into the shack and told Cora that her father was gone. She burst into a wail that made me burst into tears as well. I gathered her in my arms and held her, and we rocked back and forth, shivering. Covered in her father's blood, I held her. Dear God, Janet, she had nobody. Not knowing what else to do, I took her back to my motel room, sent that cursed Caspian to you, and took the first ferry back to D.C. with Cora in tow. I don't know what to do, Janet. I don't know what to do. Am I a kidnapper? A murderer? Both? I'm so scared.
Oh, Margaret, you're not a bad person. Janet didn't deserve a friend like you. It was so sweet of you to take Cora back with you, knowing that she had nobody left. But I mean, this is why Tiger's an evil company. If you hadn't had that gun, you would have just turned and ran or something else. And I'm all for people being armed, but being armed means nothing if you aren't trained to use the weapon you're using. As far as I'm concerned, Tiger signed off on these murders when he gave an untrained person that gun. And yeah, maybe it is cursed, but hey, I'll be using it to kill people as long as it's the right people.
The Tiger Caspian utilizes incendiary shells for incapacitating hostiles in close-range combat, positioned in the market as an alternative to traditional shotguns.
Okay. Wow. Let me try it. Oh, shit. Okay, yeah, that is incendiary.
A sad testament to the boundaries men and women may cross when driven by hunger, fear, and desperation. At least you ended Janet's misery. Hopefully Margaret and Cora found a better fate, somewhere in the wastes, far away from this grisly tomb.
Okay. I hope I never have to go back in there again. And I really hope Margaret and Cora found someplace better. Hope they never went back here either.